heavier loads to market. What do you think, James? Do you have that same situation in your state?
We do, Mark. Thank you. Nicole, that's a great question to start off with, because so much of what we...
And I just, Don, what can we do to help educate our public about government payments so they don't view it as a farm welfare check?
Well, Jillian, just to want to answer that question, but also get back to your comment about the agritourism. And there's really a broad spectrum of agritourism that's presented. And
So where does the money come from? As Farm Bureau, how do we go to the table and say, here's a problem, we want to fix it without raising taxes? We're facing three things: increased state gas tax, increased registration, and the idea of a pay-as-you-go toll system. And to be honest with you, as a delegation on my state, we were all over the place. It was amazing how we really couldn't come to much of a consensus on that. It was probably the most heated debate that we had at the delegation. I'm curious where your other states are standing on this.
And I feel like if you surveyed this room, we'd be pretty proud of what we do, you know. And as a Farm Bureau organization, I believe the reason we participate and take the time out of our schedule, out of all those busy things that we have to do, and come down here is because we are very proud of what we do, and we want to share that and get better and all those kind of things.
With a $1.2 trillion deficit facing us in 2009 on a federal level, and with many state governments on the verge of bankruptcy, the cost to maintain and improve infrastructure is staggering, but it's critical and it's crucial. I believe that from our discussion today, there are three things that we could do to better improve what's going to happen with infrastructure. Number one, I think we need to be prepared as a Farm Bureau to work closely with this new administration. We do not endorse political parties. We endorse ideals. We endorse people who support our views, and we have a new administration to work closely with. Number two, I think we need to remember fiscal responsibility. No matter what it is that we do, we need to make sure that government is being held responsible with the funds that is given. And finally, number three, I believe we need to stand behind our president, Bob Stallman. This is not a time to raise taxes. This is a time to be responsible. Remember, we are Farm Bureau. We are the voice of agriculture.
I think that we all agree here in this discussion that we have some major transportation issues that face us ahead. Luckily, or maybe not luckily, but a side benefit, a silver lining of this recession is that we have an opportunity to address these issues at a time when our dollars will go further and we can employ some people. I think Farm Bureau has a long history of lobbying for transportation improvement back into the early part of the 1900s when we were trying to get roads into rural America, and I'd like to see us continue that history by lobbying for transportation projects that will benefit agriculture in rail, water, and road. Thank you.
people often ask, not only in agriculture, what's in it for me? And as young farmers today, we've talked about the solutions and the perceptions that face us. And nobody has more to gain or lose than this group of young farmers that are going to be in production for the next 40, 50, 60 years. People want to learn about agriculture from the people that know agriculture, which is us. And if we don't step up to the plate to take on the responsibility to influence these circles like the media and the politicians, the future is going to be formed for us by someone else. I challenge all of you to get involved on those levels and take back some of the issues that we've learned today to keep the good about what people know about agriculture and reform those future perceptions that affect our future policy.
Well, as a group of Farm Bureau members here today, I think we've come up to enough of a consensus that we can develop a plan of action. That plan of action would include Farm Bureau programs that help to dispel some of the misconception about agriculture. Don reminded us that we need to continue to fund those programs and to have them viable. It would also include media, which Jillian and Andy both touched on several times. That could include our RFD programs as well as other additional media to get more into the mainstream public view. But then again, that would also include, on the grassroots level, agritourism and some of the things that we can do at our local level to really promote and provide a very good perception of agriculture that's more accurate than the current one. Jillian mentioned that developing a resource book, which is a wonderful idea I think we can do. So if we